So I do a panel on sustainability in cosplay, and one of the questions that I get the most during this panel is, how do you thrift for cosplay? What do you recommend I do? How do I go through the process of thrifting with cosplay in mind? And sitting at the panel and being like, you just do it. Not very helpful. So I decided that I would bring you along with me on my little thrifting adventure today. Hopefully we'll find something good. If not, I'll at the very least be like, this is what I usually look for. This is what I check out. Let's go.
The thrift store that's closest to where I live is a Goodwill, so that's where I get most of my thrifted pieces. There are a couple of places that I always stop in the Goodwill when I'm shopping for cosplay stuff specifically, so I'm going to take you through those places, starting with dresses. When going through dresses, I'm usually not looking for garments that I'm going to reuse as what they already are. I'm usually looking for maxi dresses or formal dresses that have a lot of fabric that I can cut apart and repurpose into different things. Prom dresses, bridesmaids dresses are a great way to get high quality fabric and kind of a lot of it for a lower cost. If you're lucky, you might even find a wedding dress, and it was two thrifted wedding dresses that I actually used to make a lot of my Cinderella cosplay. I do have a full video on that. The skirt for my Lisa Swallows cosplay from Lisa Frankenstein was upcycled from a dress I found at Goodwill, and my Lydia cosplay from Beetlejuice was made of a thrifted wedding dress and a thrifted prom dress, as well as other thrifted fabric. The next place I always check is the linen section. That's blankets, bed sheets, curtains, large swaths of fabric that are not dissimilar from just buying fabric off the bolt at a fabric store. On this trip, I was really excited to find these rust-colored curtains. I had the perfect project in mind, and then I turned them around and saw the price tag.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
I use bed sheets and curtains in a lot of my projects. Part of Shadowheart was made using a curtain. For Asuka, I actually found an entire thrifted fabric remnant, which I've used for a couple different projects, and the Giselle cosplay that I made back in 2017, I think that was, the sleeves are made from a curtain. This one might surprise you a little bit, but appliances are a good place to stop. You'll find a lot of straightening irons and curling irons. If you're lucky, you might even find a crimper, which can be great when styling wigs. Shoes are another great thing to look at. Shoes can be really expensive, so buying them secondhand is a great option. Just like with everything else, you do want to disinfect them before you use them. But a brown boot can be great for something like a Ren Fair. A tan flat can be good for barefoot characters, and a kind of neutral black heel like this is great for a lot of characters as well. And you can paint these and do all kinds of different things to shoes. There's some basic pieces that you can usually find thrifting that I highly recommend adding to your closet. For instance, formal vests like this one, great for both masculine and feminine people. White button downs, also really great. You can find these in more feminine or masculine styles, and you can use them for all kinds of things. Here are two different white button downs going for two different fairy tale looks, and one that's a little more office wear that I've used for a couple of different cosplays. It's been super useful and super helpful.
That was honestly one of the most disappointing thrifting trips I've been on in a while. I think it's because I was filming the Goodwill gods were like, you don't get anything except for those curtains, but I'm not spending $20 on I'm not spending $20 on fabric at Goodwill when I could just spend $20 on new fabric. That's stupid. Disappointing. But I did find two things, which I'll show you when I get home, and I will probably also talk a little bit about some of my other favorite thrift flips for cosplay that I've done in the past on more successful trips.
Editing Lizzie here. I just want to say I know that it is more difficult for plus size people and masculine people to find things that they like and that fit them at thrift stores. That's why I focus a lot on fabric before I try to focus on garments themselves. That's just my 2 cents. Let's see what we got. First, I have capri length leggings. I need these for Alice's baseball scene outfit from Twilight. I'm hoping to meet Ashley Green at a convention in March, and I just think it would be really fun and iconic. I know that in that outfit she's technically wearing like softball pants. This will be fine, and it'll make my butt look good. So, and then I can wear them later also. So hopefully that'll be great. It's a really boring find. And then the thing I'm really excited about is this bodysuit. And it's like a full length, like, unfortunately it zips up the front, but oh well. It's like a full length
arms and legs turtleneck tan bodysuit. And you might be thinking, who on earth wants that? It's from Shein, unfortunately, so it probably won't last me super long. But as somebody who does princess events, like volunteering, I'm about to get started doing birthday parties again. Woo! And also just like goes to conventions in the winter. I have needed something to cover my tattoos for princessing, because, you know, princesses don't really have these. And also just something for warmth if I were to wear, say, Meg to another winter convention I did last year in December, and I was cold. So this is going to be perfect because it's neutral, it's tan. In the Disney parks, when it's cold out, the princesses sometimes will just have tan turtlenecks on, or skin color turtlenecks on under their dresses, because you need to be warm, and it doesn't distract from the costume. And I'm very excited about this. Oh my goodness, because it's full length, because I have tattoos on my legs too. I'm hoping that the fabric will be thick enough that I won't need another layer, but at the very least, it's a good foundational garment. I've never seen something like this at Goodwill, and it's new with tags. As for some of my costumes that I've made in the past that have been from thrifted pieces, most of them have. Some of the more recent ones that have been almost entirely thrifted: Shadowheart's camp clothes. The leggings were thrifted and unaltered, and the top was made out of a tank top and a bodysuit that I found that were just stretch faux leather, which is a nightmare to work with. But the whole costume ended up being very cheap because it was almost entirely made of scrap from my closet and those thrifted pieces. Same thing with Alfira. Alfira was almost entirely thrifted and made from scrap in my stash. I don't have video footage of it, but I am making a build book because I do plan to compete in her. But the red fabric that was the base of her top had been thrifted at some point when I was in high school. But her pants, her boots were from Goodwill. The teal layer of her skirt was a set of curtains that I found at Goodwill. And even if I'm not finding pieces to upcycle directly, a lot of the time, if you see me in a costume that's bought, like my Angel Secret Ariel dress, I did not buy that firsthand. I bought that on Facebook Marketplace from a retired birthday party princess who didn't want it anymore. I've gotten my Mekon cosplay, same thing, I got on Mercari. And if you don't have a lot of luck at your local thrift store, or you live in a place where there aren't really local thrift stores, there's still websites where you can find things. I sell a lot of my old costumes on Mercari. I've bought people's costumes on Mercari. My Seraphine cosplay from League of Legends, I bought on Mercari, and then I sold on Mercari when I was done with it. I have seen people sell cosplay stuff on Depop. I've seen people sell cosplay stuff on eBay. That's where I got my Meg dress, which is also by Angel Secret. I just got really lucky and someone had it up on eBay and I happened to find it and buy it. I've purchased things off of the Shop Goodwill website. If you're looking for a wedding dress to upcycle, sometimes you're not going to have as much luck with that in person. So those online auctions and stuff, good place to start, although sometimes their shipping can be really expensive. I've seen Facebook Marketplace, there are whole groups for cosplay buying and selling, but also people sell wedding dresses, prom dresses, things like that. Poshmark, my Mima cosplay from Perfect Blue, is just a dress that I bought on Poshmark. I didn't change anything about it. My pants for Jinx were upcycled from a pair of pants I bought on Poshmark. It's so easy to find and repurpose things for cosplay at your local thrift store or secondhand online. And unless you're looking for something very, very specific, I highly recommend starting there instead of just buying fabric outright, because it'll be cheaper. Chances are pretty high that the quality of materials you'll get from a bed sheet or a curtain or a prom dress are going to be higher quality than costume satin. And it's better for the environment. It can be really frustrating when people are like, do this to save the earth, because it feels like there's so little that you and I can do to make a serious impact. But this is something that not only is helpful to the planet, at least in theory, it's cheaper, and a lot of the times it's also just easier to get to your local thrift store. My goal is to make cosplay more accessible and also more sustainable. Sure, there is a serious overconsumption issue with cosplay. There's an overconsumption issue with thrifting even, thrift haul culture. We don't need to be buying and selling as much as we are. We just don't. My goal isn't to make you feel like you are less for not doing these things. My goal is to try to help you find ways to make cosplay work for you. Whether you're concerned about the environment, you're concerned about your wallet, you don't have access to a good fabric store near you, you don't have an Amazon Prime subscription, so waiting forever for shipping isn't a great thing. You don't want to support Amazon or other corporations like that. Thrifting is great for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of people just don't know where to start, and that's what I'm trying to help with. So I hope that this was at least a little bit helpful in my kind of process of how I go through thrifting for cosplay and also just for myself. If it was, please comment. If it wasn't, please comment. Tell me what I can improve next time. And if you're still here, thank you. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Bye! Whatever, I'll compile something from that. I don't know what I'm even saying.